Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Computer America show. Got a great program planned for you tonight. In the second hour, we got the GizWiz, Mad Magazine's maddest writer. And in the first hour, we have Beltone Canada. Frank Skrupski is the general manager, and he's going to be joining us as well. So sit back, relax, enjoy 2 hours of Computer America.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And again, we continue to have technical difficulties with our major network, but that's okay because we have our other broadcast facility up and running, and we will bring that show to the other networks after the program. In the meantime, it is Wednesday. It's Hump Day, and Ben and I have two really interesting guests for you. Of course, in the second hour, it's the last Wednesday of the month. That means it's time for the GizWiz, Mad Magazine's maddest writer. Dick DiBartolo is here with us. Will be joining us in the second hour. He's got always got terrific things and to talk about and show and demonstrate, and we will have him on the program. And in the first hour, we're going to have Beltone Canada on the program, talking about because it's just not about hearing aids. It's a lot more. They have apps. It's just really a terrific product that they produce, and we're going to have them on the show here in the first hour. If you have a comment or a question, you certainly can do so by going to ComputerAmerica.com. That's our home. That's our internet home, ComputerAmerica.com. And on every page, on the upper right-hand corner, it says "Submit a Question." Just click that, and it'll take you to our question submission page, and you can type in a question and ask, whatever you want, or it could be a suggestion, whatever it is. And Ben and I will see it, and we'll pass that along to the guests live when we're live on the air. So that's how you kind of interact with us. And the other way is watch our live video stream. Okay, you can not only hear us, but you can also see us for the most part. You can see myself, you can see Ben, sometimes you can see our guests. I know Dick DiBartolo will be coming to us on the live video stream. And also, Ben has the technology to display websites, videos, everything in the background, so you can see everything as we talk about it. So, Ben, anything else you want to mention before we...
Yes, a few things, actually. Yeah. The first thing I want to mention is, of course, SoundCloud and Stitcher. We just set that up last weekend, and we really like to go... we would really like you to go check it out. As I said yesterday, and as I said the day before, Stitcher, in particular, is one of the best ways to keep up with Computer America because it's done automatically. It'll happen, as soon as we get the audio up on our main network, so it's always current, and it's probably one of the best ways to listen to us on Android and other mobile devices. So that's a personal favorite. SoundCloud, of course, same deal. It's if you're already in the environment, we didn't want you to have to schlep over to another website to find Computer America. So there you go, free of charge. And yeah. There's that, and I think the other thing we should mention before we start getting into our guests and start getting into the meat of the subject tonight, we should probably say out front that starting next week, Tuesday.
Yes.
Next week, Tuesday, we'll be moving to a new time. I know, it's crazy. We've been here at this time slot, 10 to midnight, for the last, 18, 20 years, and it feels like home, but we've gotten... some would call it an upgrade. We were given the opportunity, and we decided to take it, of going to 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 7 hours earlier than our current broadcast schedule.
Mhm.
So be on the lookout for that. Don't be looking for any live broadcasts or video broadcasts next week this time because you will be late to said party.
You're right. Exactly. As Ben says, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the live show. Of course, so many of you listen to it in delayed or time-shifted broadcasts. But if you want to watch us live, starting in September, the first day of September, first Monday, we'll begin broadcasting from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Good. So I'm glad we got that out. And that's all the.
And I think that covers most of it.
Yeah, and also if we have time in the hour, we'll also be doing computer and technology news. That's always brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So let's get started. Our first hour guest, and as I mentioned, he's with Beltone Canada. They recently introduced what they're calling a revolutionary hearing aid capable of streaming high-quality stereo sound from an iPhone, iPad, an iPod Touch without the need for an additional pendant-like dongle device, which is cool. Wearers can also customize their hearing experience through the Beltone Hear Plus app. Okay, see, there really is an app for everything, and we'll hear, no pun intended, how Beltone Canada advances a number of Beltone technologies, which already lead the hearing care industry. Now, joining us tonight is Frank Skupski. Frank is Beltone Canada's general manager. Frank, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Craig. How are you?
And thanks for being here with us tonight. You know, we've had a number of Beltones on here. We've had Beltone South. We've had Beltone USA. I take it Beltone Canada is part of the Canadian network of Beltone. What is Beltone Canada? Why don't you tell us?
Well, I mean, Beltone basically is, well, number one, we've been around for about 75 years. We are a distribution network of hearing instrument clinics all across North America. We have probably about 1,700 clinics across North America. So when you're talking about Beltone, you know, New England or Beltone, Florida, or people who have been on the show previously, we're all part of the same network.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now, so basically, and you're basically a brick and mortar? Do you have stores that people walk into, or are you strictly online? What is Beltone?
Well, that's correct. I mean, when you want to get a hearing instrument or a hearing aid, basically, I mean, it's a real sort of touch process that you have to go through. You have to get a hearing test. You have to, you know, basically work with the practitioner to select the right hearing instrument. So that actually requires a person to walk into a physical clinic and do that testing and get the right solution for them.
Okay. And now we're going to talk a little bit about hearing loss and how that affects everybody. I understand that, I mean, how prevalent is hearing loss?
Well, I mean, hearing loss basically impacts about 10% of the entire population. So, I mean, if you're looking at North America, and let's include Mexico there too as well, you know, you're looking probably about 50 million people that have some sort of a hearing loss. And as we get older, I mean, that becomes a lot more prevalent. I mean, once you hit age 65, about 35% of all people have a hearing loss.
Wow. It is. Now, I remember, you know, I mean, some literature and some studies that were doing saying that, you know, if you were younger and you went to, you know, really loud concerts and things like that, or the hearing loss wasn't manifested immediately, but as you get older, you sort of pay a price for it. Sort of like, it was sort of like a sun. You know, when you get a suntan, you can only get so many of those, and then when you get older, you wind up with skin, you know, problems or skin cancer. I mean, is that in fact what happens?
Well, I mean, exposure to loud sounds obviously can contribute to a hearing loss. It's what we call a noise-induced hearing loss. But the number one reason for hearing loss is age-induced, and it's just as you get older, just like, you know, you hit a certain phase in your life where you really start to notice that, hey, I need some reading glasses. You know, what happens is the same thing with hearing loss. I mean, as we get older, some of those, especially high-frequency sounds, don't come in quite as clearly. We have these little nerve cells within our inner ear. They're not working quite as well anymore, and it, you know, that basically is what just starts happening through the aging process.
Okay. So just as you get older.
Real quick, how would someone? I don't want to say self-diagnose because I don't want people going in and just throwing this around willy-nilly. But what would you say are some of the most common early warning signs that you may that they may have hearing loss?
Well, I think number one is people asking people to repeat themselves constantly, misinterpreting some words, for instance, like not understanding certain words. But really, it's just asking people to repeat themselves. And what tends to happen is that, as that starts to happen more and more, people just tend to kind of withdraw from conversations. They're not quite as active anymore. But that's basically what we see. And a lot of times people say, sounds like you're mumbling or things like that. So, those are the kind of the signs to look for.
Okay. What if the person really is mumbling?
Then he'll probably be known as the mumbler even before he comes to the party or something like that.
So let me. If people are losing their hearing like this, I mean, why don't people do something about this, or is there anything that they can do to prevent this from happening?
Well, I think age-induced hearing loss, there's nothing you can do about it unless you can get younger. It's just going to naturally happen. Mm-hmm. And I think that, when we start talking about noise-induced hearing loss, obviously there are some things that you can do about that. Make sure that you've got proper hearing protection on and whatnot. I see a lot of people, on, sit-down lawnmowers or operating, loud power tools and whatnot, wearing no hearing protection whatsoever. I mean, they are at risk eventually for a noise-induced hearing loss. But, in the hearing aid industry, like we see at Beltone, the majority of people, it's age-induced. When you hit a certain age, just like your reading glasses and whatnot, you're probably going to need some sort of hearing amplification, to help you understand speech. So,
so basically, the people are beginning to have hearing. Now, does everybody have it, or is it there's a certain percentage of people? I mean, some people get old and don't have hearing loss. I mean, what are the numbers?
Absolutely. I mean, roughly what we see is about 35% of all people who are 65, when they hit age 65, probably could benefit from wearing a hearing instrument. When they hit about 75 years old, that number jumps up to about 50%. And as they get older, I mean, that number goes up even higher and higher. So eventually, I mean, I would say that as we get older, the majority of seniors are going to require some sort of assistance with their hearing.
Hmm. Well, so there are many people then that go through life with no hearing problems whatsoever, right? I mean,
for the ones who do, though, luckily I think we've advanced to the point, as I'm sure we're going to talk tonight, that you no longer have to walk around with a bugle in your ear. It's
right.
Yeah, it's come a long way since
pretty inconspicuous.
Well, and that goes to the question about hearing aids. I mean, how have hearing aids changed, Frank, over the last several years? There's been some enormous changes, haven't there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the problems that we have in the hearing industry in general is really the stigma associated with it. That when you get a hearing aid, people automatically look at you and think either you're disabled or you've got a problem or you're old. And I think that people don't want to get hearing instruments because they're kind of like throwing in the towel and saying, yeah, my hearing's not working anymore. But over the last 20 years especially, back in the early 90s, I mean, hearing instruments were all analog products. And there was no digital sound processing or anything like that whatsoever. But about 20 years ago, digital hearing instruments came into the mainstream. And since that time, and along with digital programming, using some software and computers to be able to fine-tune hearing instruments, mm-hmm. we've been able to get, really be able to fit people with real precise fitting algorithms that, will do them very well. And now we've moved on to complete wireless technology and actually having technology that will interface with, your personal your personal telephone, telecommunications and whatnot. So that it is really discrete in the sense that, people don't really know that you're having to adjust your hearing aid. You're all doing it through, for instance, your iPhone or your Samsung Galaxy S6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, I remember with hearing aids, it was like a little pack of cigarettes or something, and you put it in your shirt pocket, and they had the little earphone with the little twisty kind of wire, and that would go into your ear. And but those were in those days it was considered, oh, it's amazing, look at that, you can just carry it around with you in your shirt pocket. But that was pretty much analog. Today's hearing aids are very, very tiny. And some of them, I understand, will even fit inside your ear. I know some that go behind your ear, but they have some that actually go in your ear as well. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, I mean, we have two types of hearing instruments in general. What we have is we have products that we call behind-the-ear hearing instruments that they do fit behind, the outer ear or your ear, and usually have either a little tube or wire that goes into the ear so that we can put the speaker in there. Mm-hmm. On the other side, this has been back in the 70s, we've had custom hearing instruments too as well, where we'll actually take a mold of the person's ear and make a product that is completely custom made for them. We'll actually use that mold to put all the components and whatnot, the hearing instruments, inside that mold, right. And then it'll just fit directly in the ear, and it's a custom fit.
But those were still pretty much analog, were they not? I mean, we're getting into digital. I mean, what are the advantages of going digital as opposed to the analog technology with hearing aids?
Well, I think digital, number one. I mean, just the sound processing and the digital signal processing that's capable with digital products. It's just never ending. And even with the custom products now, we are still able to custom program them. They are also have wireless capability too as well. So, I mean, in terms of sound processing in general, the digital products, and including custom, has taken over analog completely.
Whenever someone mentions digital and especially speakers inside the ear, I always get the feeling that someone out there has had the unpleasant experience of maybe a car crash behind them or someone claps right next to their ear or whatever, and it just spikes the digital speaker, and it just blows out their eardrum even worse. Does the digital hearing aid actually I don't want to say normalize, I guess, the sound?
Well, I mean, the way you have to, I guess it's an understanding of hearing loss in general. I mean, the average person who has a hearing loss, number one, where they have difficulty is hearing soft sounds. And when it comes to very loud sounds, for instance, a person with hearing loss usually will hear those loud sounds just like a normal hearing person because they can hear those loud sounds. But hearing instruments in general, we have something that we call like sort of an output limiter, so that if there's a very loud sound that comes in, it's not going to be amplified. I mean, that will be limited, and so there's no risk to the person having, for instance, a very loud sound, and it's going to suddenly spike and maybe injure their ear.
Yeah.
And hearing instruments are very good, and especially the digital technology, that they have what we call a very quick attack time. They can really recognize the intensity of the sound and apply the proper compression that's required to make sure that the person has comfort and also clarity in the signal that's being produced.
Makes sense.
All right. So what are the biggest benefits you think people realize when they get hearing instruments like this?
Well, you know what? I've been in hearing clinics before, and I've been around people that have been fit with a hearing instrument for the very first time, and they've been living for a very, very long time with, just kind of like bargaining their days through and not being able to get the proper amplification and whatnot. And I think a lot of times, I've seen people, being fit with hearing instruments for the first time, and suddenly their eyes just light up, and suddenly they kind of realize, I'm hearing all this sound around me, and I didn't know it was there. And their ability to discern speech, for instance, and hear people and what they're saying. I mean, the number one thing about a hearing aid is really, it's not just about amplifying sound. It's about allowing them to understand speech. and especially speech and noise. But you know what? I mean, that's the number one thing that we do in the hearing industry. It's just allowing people to be able to understand speech and connect with other people.
Well, the technology has come so far along because it's not simply, oh, let's amplify everything and so the person can hear it, because then you'll amplify background noise. And so
Yep.
if you're in a restaurant and a crowded restaurant that's fairly noisy and someone's sitting across the table from you, you're going to hear everything around, and that's not what you want to do. And with digital, I understand you can literally, there are techniques that you can use so you don't hear the background noise, but you hear the person, let's say, that's closest to you or nearby you. How do they do that?
Well, basically, I mean, sound has a sound spectrum. It has a frequency response that starts at 0 hertz and go up to about 10,000 hertz. And really, all the keys of speech happen in that range between 1,500 hertz to about 4,000 hertz. But really, ambient background noise happens in the low frequencies. So what hearing instruments can do is they break up that frequency response into a number of different channels. And in the low frequencies is really where we hear all that ambient background noise. That's where you hear that low frequency hum in the background. Like when you're in a restaurant, you hear people babbling in the back and you hear speech babble and whatnot. That's that low frequency sound. But the speech that you really want to concentrate on happens at a higher frequency. So the hearing instruments actually divide that frequency response, determine where the noise is, okay, and there's no speech present there, and they will actually attenuate the sound in that frequency so that that kind of background noise doesn't mask out the speech, so that you're getting attenuation in those speech frequencies.
All right. So now, the different technologies that you're using today, we would consider this to be pretty much wireless, wireless technology. Yet you're expanding it to work with items that we carry around, like our smartphones today.
Right.
And you have come up with a way to use a smartphone to control and monitor and adjust the hearing aid itself. And could you give us a little bit of an overview of what it is that you have to offer today?
Yeah. On Beltone hearing instruments, for instance, like our new hearing aid that we just recently launched, the Beltone Legend product, for instance, these are all what we call wireless products. And inside every single hearing aid, there is actually a little small FM antenna that we put into them. And I guess, if you've seen a hearing aid, see how small they are. I mean, that's got to be a pretty small antenna. And it operates on a 2.4 gigahertz FM frequency. And just like pairing, for instance, your Bluetooth headset or any other device to your iPhone or your Android enabled phone, we're able to pair the hearing instrument directly to your telephone, and through the app, or for instance, we have the Beltone Hear Plus app, which you can download for free. You download this item or download the app, you pair your hearing instruments to your telephone, and you're able to completely control your hearing aids directly, either through your iPhone or through your Android-enabled phone.
And when you say control now, you're not talking about having the hearing aid act as a Bluetooth earphone and you're hearing the telephone conversation. You're controlling other parameters of the hearing aid itself. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can adjust the volume on the hearing instrument. You can actually do some things that you could never do with conventional hearing aids back in the past. You can adjust the treble. You can adjust the bass. You can select different program settings that you've had ahead of time. Whether or not you're just normal one-on-one conversation, whether or not you're in a restaurant. You could have special programs built in, basically this geotagging function within the hearing instrument. So it actually knows when you go to a certain location, and if you've adjusted the hearing instrument via your telephone to a certain setting, when you go back to that same environment again through the geotagging function on the phone, it'll ask you, hey, you're back. You're at the golf club or wherever you are. Would you like to set your hearing instrument back to that same setting? And you can say yes. So yeah, I mean, you're able to do a lot of things through the telephone, and you can also do it very discreetly, right? I mean, that's one of the things about hearing aids. Back in the past, you always have to put your finger to your ear and make adjustments. Now you can just do it through your phone, so maybe somebody just thinks you're texting.
Yeah, exactly. Now, can you set it so it just does that automatically, or does it come up and send you a notification? You have to answer the notification, or can you do it either way?
Well, basically, it'll usually come up and ask you to, like, for the notification, if you want to do it. But you can set it to set it automatically as well.
Okay, so that it's just no hands completely.
Yeah.
Now, and I was kind of kidding around when I said it, but is there, in other words, when I'm actually using the smartphone and I'm holding it up to my ear, does the hearing aid then act as a hearing aid, or can it actually take the phone conversation and bring that into my ear and act as a headset?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when a telephone call comes in, I mean, you can set it so basically the telephone call, the conversation that you're hearing through your phone, can stream directly to the hearing instruments. And in fact, it goes even further than that. I mean, you could stream music to it directly if you like. You could, if you're FaceTiming with somebody, it can stream directly to your hearing aids. You can even get GPS prompts right to your hearing instruments too.
So it really is kind of complete.
Yeah, that acts just like a speaker. That's very. I'll just know it's very handy, but I'm assuming it knows natively to let outside noises kind of trump whatever messages maybe coming through your ear.
Yeah, I mean what happens is, I mean, if there's an input that's coming or some other signal is coming out of the telephone, like a GPS prompt or maybe you're talking on the phone, as soon as that finishes, as soon as that terminates, I mean, the hearing aid will turn back on again, and we'll go back to the way it's working before for you. But yeah, I mean, it will trump, the how the hearing aid's working, because we're assuming that this is the signal the person wants to hear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Frank, I assume your microphone is on a cord or something, because it keeps shifting around and it keeps making clicking noises. If you could stop it from doing that, I would appreciate it.
All right.
So basically, it acts as a Bluetooth headset if you want. With a Bluetooth headset, so the phone rings, you can answer the phone, and you don't have to hold the phone up to your ear. You can actually hear the phone conversation, or you can play music on your smartphone and stream the music directly to the hearing aid as well. And this is all part of the Beltone Hear Plus app. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's all part of the either the Beltone Legend line or the Beltone First line. And yeah, the app and the wireless technology works, directly with those products.
Now, what about the Apple Watch? That's kind of can you use this with the app with the Apple Watch as well?
Absolutely, you can. I mean, if you have the obviously if you have the app downloaded on your telephone and have an Apple Watch, you can still hear my clicking here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, let me see if I can move this around here. Maybe this might be better.
Something's hitting.
Yeah. Maybe that's better now.
No, it's going.
Yeah.
Some sort of vibration there, isn't it?
Yeah, something's hitting the mic. But,
That's okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So you can use it with the Apple Watch. How does that work?
Well, basically, I mean, the Apple Watch. What you're able to do basically is, with the Hear Plus app, when you download it onto your iPhone, obviously it will also download to your Apple Watch at the same time. So you have the ability to do some of the basic adjustments to your hearing aid directly through the Apple Watch. So you can adjust the volume, you can adjust programs, you can actually even adjust things like noise reduction. If you're in a restaurant or whatnot, and you feel like there's a little bit too much noise around you, you actually have the ability through the Apple Watch to reduce or to increase the amount of noise reduction that you have. So it has a lot of the same features that you have through the iPhone or the app in general. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask about some of the other features available with the Apple Watch, but we're coming up to the break. And also, are there other apps available for you? So we've got some other questions that I'd like to ask you, but we're gonna take a little break, Frank, and then we'll continue on. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Our guest tonight is with Beltone Canada. Frank Skupski is Beltone Canada's general manager, and we're speaking to him about some of these really very cool technologies for people who are hearing impaired. And we'll continue on with him when we come back. We also have another News Tips Bulletin review from Marty Winston. So we will be right back. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Please stay with us.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. I want to tell you something about VTech. They always have the coolest telephone systems around. VTech's new 4-line small business phone system, the perfect solution for small business owners that need to install a phone system that has qualities and features that have previously only been available for companies with bigger budgets. First of all, this new system is the most affordable and easy to install 4-line phone system on the market. Its components allow the system to grow alongside a business up to 10 extensions that can be located anywhere. The 4-line small business phone system also comes equipped with a number of advanced features such as auto attendant for each line, a digital answering machine with mailboxes for every extension, full duplex speakerphones, music on hold, power failure operation, 6-way conferencing, and much, much more. The VTech 4-line small business phone system is available in stores and online at Office Depot, Office Max, and Staples, as well as online at www.vtechphones.com. Tell them I sent you.
No, they said swing state, not swinger state. Oh, it's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Kensington 48-watt 4-port USB charger. You know, one of the hottest trending pastimes these days is the extremely popular running out of USB charging ports. So when we got this one in, we thought, 48 watts, that's 12 watts per port. That comes out to 2.4 amps, the same specs cited by the product. So that checks out. The AC connection's a 2-prong line cord, so it won't cover a second outlet. The business end is a small rectangular block with 4 ports up top and venting slots on the side. Doesn't get warm. Bottom line, the Kensington 48-watt 4-port USB charger is among the best answers out there for keeping your gear charged and at the same time, your AC socket's available. Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour in the first hour, and we're talking to Beltone Canada, and just talking about all of their different hearing aids. And you should definitely go check out their website and see what it's one thing to hear it described to you, or slightly hear it described to you, and it's another thing to actually see these products because they're actually very well designed and they look very nice. So it's nice to hear that stigma that we were talking about towards the beginning of the show is wearing off, because these things they don't look too different than a normal Bluetooth device. They're very stylish on their own, and hearing loss is nothing to, I feel like no one should be afraid of fixing a medical issue. So your products look very good, and I don't think anyone would be self-conscious sporting one of these. But we were talking about right before the break the app and how it works with iOS and also works with Android, and it even works with the Apple Watch because hey, it's new, it's fancy, why not?
Yep.
And I guess our next question was what are what are some of the other apps that you can use with this thing?
Well, one of the other apps that we have is we have a feature or an app. It's called the Tinnitus Calmer, and basically, I don't know if you know what tinnitus is, but tinnitus is a
Tinnitus. I guess it's a pronunciation. I say. I guess maybe it's a Canadian thing. I don't know, but it's a. We had the present CEO of Dictionary.com last night. We were talking. Some people say aluminum, some say aluminium. So I guess.
Yes.
But tinnitus is that ringing in the ear, correct? That people experience.
That's correct. Yeah, and about 10 to 15% of all people have experienced or some sort of ringing in their ear. Actually, probably more than that have experienced ringing in the ear, especially if you've been at a loud rock concert or something like that.
Yeah.
You're walking out and your ears are ringing after the show, right? And that's really from all that loud sound that's you've been subjected to. It's kind of a reaction, basically, that the inner ear has.
Didn't I think William Shatner has tinnitus and has had it for years.
And he's Canadian too, so yeah.
So you say, but yeah, no, tinnitus is very, very common. Even I've had it when I was 21, 22 years old after working around heavy machinery just for like a year. It's pretty. It's very subtle, but when you get in a really quiet room, that's when you notice it.
Oh, you hear it, yeah, exactly. And you have something that can help people with tinnitus, Frank?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the number one thing about ringing in the ears, for instance, or what some people refer to is ringing of the brain, more or less than calling it ringing of the ears, because they really feel it's more of a neurological issue. It's maybe not directly associated to the inner ear and whatnot, but the way that we handle that, basically, and it's interesting, the comment before that you kind of focus in on it. The way that we view tinnitus, basically, and the way that we handle it, and with tinnitus retraining therapy and whatnot, because there's really no cure for it. I mean, once you've had it and it's chronic, and you have it all the time, you're pretty much, you're going to have it all the time. It's a lot like walking into a room, a very dark room, and you have a candle burning in the corner, and of course, you're focusing. As soon as you walk into that room, you will focus in on that candle. So what we do with tinnitus retraining therapy is that we present tones via the hearing instruments and also via the Tinnitus Calmer app, where you can select your different sounds that you want to listen to. It really is a sound that we generate so that it gets your mind off of the ringing in your ears. So it's a competing sound to basically alleviate the constant ringing in your ear.
So in other words, it's a distraction. It's to distract the distraction, or to pull away from the tone. Is what you're
That's
doing.
right. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. So with the Tinnitus Calmer app, basically, you can go in there and you can select through a large library of different sounds to basically present to yourself, basically, or when you're in quiet times, especially, so that you're not focusing in on that ringing in your ears.
So do they actually know what it is? I mean, is there any physical evidence? I mean, I realize there's no cure, but they at least know what's causing it, or they don't even know what's causing it at this point.
Well, I think for a lot of people, it's different things, right? I mean, for some people, for instance, it could be because they do have some sort of a hearing loss in the inner ear, and maybe it's those nerves in the inner ear that are causing the ringing in their ear. But for the most part, there really is there's no real, I guess the word I'm looking for is there's really no real diagnosis as to why it's happening.
Okay. And tinnitus. Now, is this a sign of our times, or has tinnitus been around since we've managed? People have been hearing. I mean, is it something?
Well, I mean, back in caveman days, I'm sure cavemen died at the ripe old age of like 28, and it really wasn't a problem.
Well, I mean, was Or is it something a sign of our times where we have amplified sounds and we live in cities with all kinds of sounds as opposed to rural living? I mean, have there any studies been done on that, Frank? You know?
Well, I think I think it's probably been around for a very long time, and I think that it's been an issue for
Mhm.
probably thousands of years.
Okay.
Especially as we get older and whatnot. You know, I it it can also be associated to other things in life. I mean, even things like high blood pressure, too much sodium in your diet and whatnot.
Got it.
I mean, sometimes there are things that will be recommended to you immediately about trying to control that. That might help with with the ringing in your ears. But yeah, and the one thing that we see, especially with people who suffer with ringing in the ears, roughly about even though we say it's about 10 to 15% of the population have ringing in their ears,
Mhm.
usually about of all those people who suffer from ringing in the ears, about 60% of them probably have some sort of a hearing loss.
Mhm. Well, all right. So, what do you think the next big innovation in hearing instruments is going to be?
Well, I think we're going to continue. I mean, I think the big innovation that we've already had really is the kind of the coming together of personal communications with hearing amplification, because it kind of all goes together. I mean, in hearing aids right now, I mean, our main goal is about communication, improving communication for people. So I think that you will continue to see hearing instruments interfacing with your personal communications even on a higher level. Whether or not that's you're wearing hearing aids, and you're going to use it for everything. Listening to your music for and the fidelity will even get better and better and better. So I think that you'll see that full integration with your personal communication devices, audio devices.
Mhm.
It'll just become part of people's lives. And I think eventually what's going to happen is that we're going to probably have these Bluetooth devices, wireless devices in our ears all the time to talk on the phone, listen to music, get on a plane, just connect in. And hey, and guess what? It's also a hearing aid. So it probably will hopefully one day completely get rid of the stigma of wearing a hearing aid, because everyone's going to wear it.
Whether they realize it or not. What about
Right.
what about battery life? That's something I meant to ask you, especially with these smaller ones that go they're actually inserted into the ear canal. Um, uh, how long? What kind of battery life do you get with these things? What kind of batteries are you even using? I guess it must be really tiny batteries.
Yeah, we use very small sort of button cell batteries. They're zinc air batteries. They, number one, they don't have any mercury in them. They used to be mercury batteries, or even before that, silver batteries. But in general, I mean, it really depends on, number one, how small the battery is and the kind of power that you need out of the hearing instrument. Obviously, the bigger the engine, the more power. I mean, we see with the very, very small products, the completely in canal products that are completely invisible, they use what we call a 10A battery. You're probably looking at anywhere from 3 to 5 days of battery life. And then with some of the larger products, I mean, you can get 2 to 3 weeks out of them. I think the one thing about hearing aid batteries is that it's probably not the top product for a lot of the battery manufacturers that are out there. Seeming it's a very small market, I think their focus really is on more, telephones and computers and whatnot. But we're hoping that in the future we start seeing some better battery technology coming out to enhance the life on these batteries.
Oh, battery technology is so archaic. I lament about that constantly on the show.
What are you talking about, Craig? We just had an advancement like 23 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the technologies are still from the 1800s. I mean, it's amazing because we can do so much with technology, but the one limitation is in mobile devices is the battery, and we've seen there have been no giant leaps. All the batteries I take it in these hearing aids are not rechargeable, right? You take it, use it, and put a new one in.
Well, actually, we do have some rechargeable batteries out there, but I mean the performance of these rechargeable batteries has been, I guess, sketchy at best. And I think based on the population that we're dealing with, being seniors in general, and I can say it personally myself, to me it's just another thing I've got to charge, and I've got enough things I have to charge. So I think when it comes to batteries, I find that the throwaway batteries are probably the best option out there.
Are there any induction technologies on the horizon? I know for phones now they're getting induction, technologies where you don't have to the battery will charge wirelessly. Anything that they're doing that for
And
hearing?
then you put it into a pillow, and then you charge it through your pillow. I like that. Never take it out again. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's actually induction charging has been discussed in our industry, I think, for at least 10 years now, utilizing some sort of rechargeable battery that we can just put on a pad, put the hearing aid on a pad, and it will, charge the hearing aid wirelessly. But I don't see that on the horizon probably for the next couple of years.
You mean no one's listening? I guess.
Yeah, they're listening. I think they're trying to do it, but yeah, it's not happening as quickly as we'd like to see it.
I can think of all the puns that you could use. It's falling on deaf ears. It's just none of it. None of it's either. I'm sorry, but
it's interesting too, though. I mean, because I think one of the number one complaints that we get out of hearing aid wearers is battery life.
Yeah,
they would like better battery life. They like to see the batteries last longer, or at least have better battery charging solutions. So, certainly, we'd like to move in that direction, but I think it takes some collaboration with the battery manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, like I said, the hearing instrument industry is, when you compare it to cell phone batteries or the batteries for an iPad or a laptop computer, it's pretty small in comparison.
Well, Frank, I want to thank you for being here with us on the show. Again, the website is www.beltone, beltone.ca, or you can go to our website at computeramerica.com and check them out for yourself. I assume price ranges are kind of all over the map. Typically, what can one spend for one of these hearing aids?
Well, like you say, I think you're quite right. It's all over the map. I mean, you can. Hearing aids can start from very affordable prices, below $1,000, and they can go up to, over $3,000 for one, depending on what you really need. In Canada, though, I mean, the land of socialized medicine, we do have assistance from the government to help people towards the purchase of hearing instruments. So you really got to check where you live, check your own insurance policies, and see what you can get. But really, the best thing to do for you, especially at the age of the average hearing aid wearer, and I think these people are worth it, they should get the best one they can afford.
Sure, absolutely. Frank, again, thank you so much for being with us here tonight on Computer America, and
nice to hear from you.
Nice to hear from you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
You take care. Good night. Bye-bye.
Okay. Good night. Thank you.
All right. All right, so there you go. Now, coming up in the second hour, we're going to have Dick DeBartolo, the GizWiz, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and but I think we have some time to do a couple of news stories. So
we have a few minutes.
So let's do some computer news. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. slimwareutilities.com. And why don't you lead with the first story?
All right, I'll lead. Well, if you're speaking of Slimware and your little plug right there, last time they were on was a few days before or a few days after, I'm forgetting, before Windows 10, and yes, I believe it's before, before Windows 10 came out.
Yep.
And before then, we mentioned that you should use, the full line of products to clean up your computer. You don't want to take that junk with you. You want your new Windows 10 device, or at least your old Windows 10 device, to be as fast as possible. Don't take your problems with you. It's spring cleaning.
Yep.
Well, the numbers are in. 4 weeks later, moving on to Windows 10.
Wow.
4 weeks after it was released, it is now, or at least it has been installed on 75 million devices.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Mr. Paul Lilly over at Max and PC is where we're pulling some of this information from. But yeah, it's it's been a month since it was released back. Well, in 2 days it'll be a month. But yeah, it's been about a month, and the operating system has found its way onto 75 million devices. And this is according to Yusuf Mehdi, who is the corporate vice president of Microsoft Windows and Devices Group. And he posted the figure, I guess this is where we get our breaking news nowadays, on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 75 million devices running Windows 10 and growing every day, he tweeted. So he then tweeted a couple more tidbits about how Windows 10, or at least the Windows Store for Windows 10, has seen 6 times more app downloads per device than Windows 8. That's a pretty cool number. It means people are really getting in the spirit of things, and the App Store is becoming, you know, a viable solution for people.
Yes.
Because Windows 8 had that weird transition, because Windows 7, you still went out and you purchased a license and downloaded it from a third party. You still went to X website, purchased Y product, and you downloaded that onto your computer. But Windows 10 is really trying to take advantage of this App Store that they have going on, or the Windows Store, which is just an app store for Windows, and you can download any and all products that that are made for Windows 10 and Windows devices from the App Store, and they're really trying to get you locked into that ecosystem. So it seems like people are biting it. And not only that, they also say that more than 122 years of gameplay have been streamed from Xbox One to Windows 10 devices so far.
Wow.
122 years. So I guess if you sat down and started watching someone play video games, one day would go by, 1 week would go by, 1 year would go by, 100 years would go by, and that's just in the first 4 weeks, 122 years of gameplay.
Wow.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
So,
I know you're
Hmm?
you're enjoying your Xbox One and doing a lot of the streaming as well.
I haven't tried the streaming yet.
You haven't tried the streaming yet. Okay. Have you done the streaming on Windows 10?
I haven't tried the streaming yet.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we've been talking about Windows 10 and some of the new features found on Windows 10, and one of them, of course, has been Cortana. The digital assistants are like Apple's Siri, Cortana, and of course Google Voice. Evidently,
Did you just jack me? Oh, wait, did you just jack me right in the middle of a story?
there is.
I think you did.
That smooth transition. Exactly.
It wasn't a smooth transition. It was a carjacking. It was a carjacking.
Yeah, because evidently there's a new player in town.
Whatever.
Yeah, Facebook is working on a virtual assistant called M. I think they're watching James Bond because that's the name of his boss is M. And it could be man, woman. The last M was female, and she died in the last one. Sorry, spoiler. Anyway,
there you go, Craig.
M is the vice president of messaging products at Facebook revealed today that America's #1 social network is currently developing a genderless virtual personal assistant called M. Now, how can it be genderless? I mean, it's gonna be either male or female. Yeah. Okay. I guess it could be. There's some things it could do. It could sound like Alvin the Chipmunk, and you don't know whether it's male or female. Anyway, this new AI will be located within Messenger. That's the company's standalone chat client. And so far there's no indication when or if this is gonna, when it's gonna happen. But what they're saying is what will make M different from Google Now and Siri and Cortana is that M will actually complete tasks. In other words, it can purchase items, it can get gifts delivered to your loved ones, it can book restaurants, make travel arrangements or appointments, which you really can't do with the other competitors. But we don't know too much about M at this point. It's a little early. Obviously, we'll stay on top of it. M can order flowers for the user's mother. It can locate a dog-friendly beach nearby. It can suggest shoes for a newborn baby. Recommend a good hamburger joint. If you're, it's good. It's really got a lot of nice properties to it. But it's artificial intelligence. It's going to be trained and supervised by people. Okay. And these, in other words, it's going to have artificial intelligence, but it's also going to have a human team, which is located at Facebook. And they are going to make sure that all requests made by users will be answered, whether it's the AI or the human.
So, Craig,
that's very unusual. Yes.
what do you think about all this? Because Facebook has already been slapped on the wrist or taken flack over uh, getting too deep into people's personal lives. Pulling too much information, and then of course turning around, selling and sharing that information. Do you think people would be willing to, kind of go a step further and not just give them your pictures, your friends' pictures, your baby's pictures, and everything you're doing every minute of every day of every week. But do you think people are willing to go a step further and throw in their search habits as well to Facebook?
What's to stop them from doing exactly that?
Well,
And
no, I'm asking you if the people using the platform are willing to do this.
Well, if by doing that or by willing to do it, that they're going to get a more seamless integration to their requests, I guess it's on a one-to-one basis. I really can't speak for everybody. I think for me personally, that if I knew that I could get a more interactive experience with the digital assistant, I would say, yeah, go for it. I've got nothing to hide. It's not like I've been visiting that dating website where you're cheating on your wife.
Ashley Madison.
Yes, I haven't been visiting Ashley Madison. So I think that for the most part, I think people would be willing to do that in order to garner a more interactive personal digital assistant. So I would say, yeah. I would say yes to that question, man.
I get where you're coming from, but I feel like people are already kind of ticked at Facebook, but they stay there because it's one of the largest. It's one of the it's a place where people have already invested their time, their energy, and their pictures. But it seems like it would freak people out more than it would. I get what Facebook is doing. It's trying to grow itself as a brand. It's trying to become larger than just a social media site. It wants to be part of your entire browsing experience.
I mean, look what Sandy Berger's going through with the Amazon Echo, and she's giving up information. She loves it, because it's learning as it continues on. So what's the name of the assistant with the Echo?
I just thought the word Alicia, but no, it starts with an A.
Yeah,
Alexa.
Alexa, yeah. I mean, and she's perfectly happy with to do it because the more accurate it is, the better she likes it, and it continues to learn. So I would say that part of being a personal digital assistant is that the personal digital assistant learns, more and more about me, because it's my personal digital assistant. So I would think that that's a benefit. Not to say
it's not just learning about you. If you remember that movie called Her.
Oh yes.
And it's like, how many people are you talking to? And it's like, I'm currently talking to like 60,000 people. It's like, it's not just learning from you; it's learning from everyone.
Well, that's the difference. A personal digital assistant, you would hope that you wouldn't go out and tell the people about, oh, you guess what my boss did today, but how many people could she tell? But of course, when you're dealing with digital information, you could be sharing it with millions of people or other.
You're guaranteeing that you are at least sharing it with Facebook, and Facebook, is at least sharing it with anyone who's willing to pay the money.
Yep. Well, I think that's the price we pay in this digital world that we're living in now. I think that's just the price we pay. And then, and if you don't like it, you can always drop your Facebook account, and you don't have to use digital assistants, and you can go live in a log cabin somewhere and be happy. But
there's a jump in logic there. I think it was between don't use the new, potentially dangerous to your privacy product and go live in a tent in the woods. I think the leap was somewhere in there.
I didn't say a tent, a log cabin, but yeah, it's the same concept. Anyway,
well, who has the skills to build a log cabin anymore? And plus, Facebook is going to know that you are looking for log cabins. For all you know, they will block log cabin searches on your site because they know you're about to run away from Facebook.
That's right. Anyway, there's a new player in town when it comes to personal digital assistants, and that person's name is M, or that AI is going to be called M, and it's going to be sexless, evidently. It's going to be like androgynous Pat. You can't tell if it's male or female, and but it's going to.
Are those reference or just?
That's going to be coming. Yeah, it's going to be coming to your Facebook Messenger soon. We don't know when, but it's called M. And
Keep an eye out for it.
keep an eye out for it. All right. I don't. Do we have time? We don't have time to do another story, do we?
No, not really. Some of the other highlights we didn't get to. If you feel like you want to go check them out yourself, there was a court ruling in Australia where a band had forced one of the internet providers over in Australia to ban restricted sites, and they took that and they handed it over to T-Mobile, and they said, "Hey, will you guys just follow this other guy's court ruling?" And T-Mobile, thumbed their nose at them and said, "Take us to court." Google is hiring programmers based on search history. Yeah.
And they can now arm drones in North Dakota with tasers. Those stories and more, maybe in the next days or so.
That would hurt.
Dick DiBartolo, the GizWiz, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, is going to be joining us in the next hour. We're going to just pause just for a moment, and then we'll be back with Dick. Stay with us. You listen to Computer America.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And if you're just joining us, we just had Beltone Canada on the show, talking about Canada. Oh, Canada. Canada on the show. Talking about their hearing aids. They work with the Android and on the and iPhones and even the Apple Watch. If you missed any portion of that, you can always listen to it again. We archive all of our shows at ComputerAmerica.com, so you can check it out. Don't forget where you have. Although it's Wednesday, we certainly encourage you to join us join our social media contests. And you get a chance to win that really great prize we're giving away. That's the Logitech Anywhere MX2 mouse, wireless mouse, valued at $80. We'll be giving that away on Friday for some lucky person. And again, check out everything at ComputerAmerica.com, where we're now heard on we're now heard on Stitcher, and we're also up on SoundCloud. You can hear us now as well. So all the different things, and we're also coming to you in high fidelity sound on Blog Talk Radio Network. So that is they're having some technical issues there, but bottom line is that our sound is sounding so much better.
When you can find it available, yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So anyhow, it is that time. It's the last Wednesday of the month, and he's known as the GizWiz, as well as being Mad Magazine's maddest writer, Dick DiBartolo. He is just mad about gadgets. He's an official Computer America correspondent who appears here on the show every last Wednesday madness of the month. Dick, welcome into Computer America. How the heck are you?
I'm good, and you?
We're doing fine.
Your coughing sounds like it's in high fidelity.
It is.
In HD.
It is. It's high
Wow.
HD. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, what's with the website? This is the same website I saw last month. What's going on here?
We haven't changed the website, no. We keep making improvements to it.
Oh, okay.
But as long as you like it, we always say, let's run it by Dick, see if he likes it.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So, again, what's happening in your life before we get into everything?
Doing my show at GizWiz.tv, and still working at Twit with Leo and Mad Magazine. I just in the November issue I have a 6-page satire on. Have you ever watched MasterChef Junior?
No.
Junior? No.
Junior? Have you seen the regular MasterChef?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a version, MasterChef Junior, that will knock your socks off. It is kids 9 to 13 who can make incredible dishes. It's just amazing. And it did very, very well in the ratings, and they're now
Well,
coming out with a new series of kids, and that'll start in November, so it'll time out with the issue of Man that's coming out at that time too.
part of me is like, okay, we're gonna put kids on TV. That's always great. You know, we've all seen television shows about kids. They're hilarious. But now we're gonna give them sharp knives and access to flame. And
Yeah,
we're gonna see what
exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
That's one
Now-
of the things we bring up in the satire.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if you want to follow along with us, again, you can. Ben, of course, has the technology to display the GizWiz.biz website in the background so you can see everything. But if you are online at the moment and you want to follow along, you can go to the GizWiz.biz website and then click on the non-paid Lackey Fun on Computer America, and you'll see all the stories that we're going to be talking about tonight with Dick. Okay, so you can kind of follow along because you can see the pictures, he has all the links, everything is there, and it just makes for a more interesting experience for you. So our theme this month obviously was back to school, and you've come up with a collection of unique back to school gadgets.
Yeah, every year I do a spot for ABC News, and I always try to lead off with an unusual backpack. One year we had the cocoon backpack where you open the back and there are little elastic straps to hold every one of your loose gadgets. And then we had I think it was called, was it iSound? I can't even remember. It was the backpack with a built-in alarm so that if the kid felt threatened, they could pull a pin, and the backpack would flash LEDs, and a siren would go off. So this year I found something really unique, actually two of them, one for older kids, that are both exclusive to ThinkGeek. And I think the most outstanding one is the Captain America shield. So this is an 18-inch diameter red, white, and blue hard plastic shield that is actually a backpack. You unzip it. There is a large main pocket. There are two accessory pockets, a padded laptop tablet pocket, and a friend of mine said, this is an ideal backpack also if you want to carry a full-size pizza to school. So it's very clever. You will certainly get a lot of attention. Trust me on that. As Craig said, check out GizWiz.biz and to see a picture of it. So that's pretty unique.
Yeah, the picture. Actually, Ben is actually showing the video of it right now. Of you showing the backpack.
Yeah.
Dick is holding it up right now, and you can see it's got the straps that are typical to holding it up, but then built into the back, you see all the different compartments.
And a very, it's nicely padded, the part that touches your back. Very nice straps that go over your shoulder, totally adjustable. So I think, if you like to attract attention or you're a show off, this is pretty neat from ThinkGeek, and that's $59.99. And then if you are a younger kid, there is the let me just flip this guy up here. My mouse just stopped working.
Oh, okay. We can't have that.
Yeah, no, here we go. Now it is. Okay, the Rocket Raccoon backpack. So this is for kids as young as 3. It actually is a backpack. It's from Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And this little guy, a much smaller pocket. The folks at ThinkGeek said they were able to get an iPad 2 in there. And it's very, very cleverly done. You have a raccoon on your back.
The arms kind of go over your shoulders and the legs kind of wrap underneath, right?
Yes, and it has a great raccoon tail. It's very cute, very cute. And I think it's reasonable too. It's $39.99, and a well-padded pocket in the back, and the strap's open to 18 inches. So if you're a fun-loving person, you can probably put this on pretty much no matter what age you are.
That's very
It's very cute.
I was about to say, I can't wait to see grown men walking through the mall with these things.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, I'm watching the video, and it looks like you're wearing a watch with a screen. What kind of watch are you wearing?
I have the Galaxy Gear 2.
Ah, okay. How do you like it?
You know, I like it a lot.
Are you wearing it now?
I'm wearing it now.
Hold it up so we can see it.
Yep, hang on. Let me just flip it off here.
Oh, okay.
So that, okay, so there you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. And what I like about that is you can go into, let me hit that. Oh, it's we cannot launch this right now because your battery's low. What I like about it is you can shoot 15 seconds of video with sound.
Oh, okay.
And you can also do a lot of still shots. So what I like about it is at trade shows, I can just run the watch camera across a display table, and when I want to remind myself what I saw at the show, I can just watch these little 15-second videos and remind myself, and then sometimes I just take a still shot of it.
Very cool.
So yeah, I do like that.
All right. And you decided to get that as opposed to the Apple Watch?
Well, you know what? Everything I have is Android, and also, like the Apple Watch, this really works best with a Samsung product. You know, the Note or any of the Galaxies.
Okay.
You know, you can take phone calls through the watch.
That's just nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And dial through the watch too.
All right, so getting back to school, okay? So you had the back to school.
Wow, very good.
Exactly. Here's a method where you can save money while eliminating daily waste. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? When I first heard about this, I thought, I don't know, it's a juice box. And then the more I read about it, I thought, you know, this is not a bad idea. So instead of sending your kid out every day with a little juice box and a straw that the kid drinks at lunch and then throws out. So 5 days a week you're throwing out a box and a straw. You have the juice in the box that you pull the top off. There's a nice heavy-duty rubber gasket around it. You can put 8 inches of juice in it, and since you are filling it yourself, you can buy, you know, a gallon of juice. That'll make each time you fill it very economical. But what I like is when you slide the top back on and lock it, you can turn it upside down and shake it. It is totally spill-proof.
Nice.
So you throw it in the backpack, and you don't have to worry about it. And then something else that I thought was clever is that the juice pack itself is made 80% from recycled materials. So every day you save throwing out the box. There's a built-in straw that also, and there's a good chance that the juice you're going to buy and put in it will be better than, you know, the kind of things that come in those box things that you'll find sugar way up near the top and water near the top. And they sell anywhere from $10 to $12.
And it looks like they're bigger than the actual that you get.
Well, it's 8 ounces of juice, so I'm not quite sure how much. I mean, you don't have to put a full 8 ounces in it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how much those little juice boxes.
It comes in a couple of colors too.
Yeah, it comes in 5 colors. The only thing is, if you're the kind of kid who likes to go to school, take a juice box, squeeze it, and shoot the juice all over everybody else, you can't do it with this. Which in itself could be a blessing for parents who don't want to go through dry cleaning bills to try and get the juice out.
How easy is it to pop, like, not the top where the straw is, but pop the entire thing off? Is it kind of kid proof?
It is. It's very. You mean to fill it?
Yeah.
To fill it is very easy. You just you lift it toward the back, and it easily slides open to put the juice in. Very easy. And then it locks, and then has a little snap open lock when the kid is ready to consume the juice that's in it. Just push it, that top pops up, and the straw pops up.
All right.
Yeah, it's clever. Very clever.
So continuing our back to school, you've discovered a fast and easy way for a student to change sheets in the dorm
Yeah,
bed.
this has a very funny backstory. So this woman goes to visit her son at college and wants to see his dorm room and goes in and freaks out when she sees that he's probably never ever changed the sheet
We
that
actually
he's
have a recording of the when she actually did that. Was
That's
that?
it. That is, there she is, right. And so, why are you sleeping on this dirty sheet? Well, Ma, it's a fitted sheet. It takes forever. It's hard to change. Anyway,
He
so
was complaining. He was complaining it was a fitted sheet. The whole idea of fitted sheets makes it easier than
you know what? I don't even like changing fitted sheets.
Neither do I.
No, they're a pain in the neck.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah, so she came out with a fitted sheet that has Velcro all around the top. So you put the fitted sheet on once, and then you peel off the top, which also has a matching Velcro top, and you get two of those top portions in the kit, and then you smooth on, so the fitted part stays on for the whole semester. And then you smooth on the clean one, and now if you change them every 2 weeks, you have 2 weeks to launder the one you took off, and then swap it out again when the sheet gets dirty. And also, there's a little Velcro pocket that can go anywhere along the sheet, and they call it the text storage pocket, and that's where you can put in your phone and your TV remote, whatever you want to have right at the side of your bed.
I have mixed emotions with this one.
Really? Okay.
I mean, okay. I guess it's sanitary because even though it's the same sheet, you are putting another sheet on top of the sheet. Although I would think that eventually, I mean, dirt could get through. And you get two replacement sheets. So what's the top sheet supposed to be? That's
So the top sheet is
a regular sheet.
a regular sheet and a regular pillowcase, and no, I think it's a clever idea. And by the way, I did not know this, is that if you're going back to school, you cannot just bring your own fitted sheets, because college dorm beds mattresses are 5 inches longer than standard twin beds.
I didn't know that.
So they do that. I didn't know that either. So they do that. So if one year there's a very tall student sleeping in the dorm, they don't have to worry about it. So it's just a very long bed for everybody.
I have traumatic experience. I remember going to the college dorm when both of our sons and we were going to college, and they're a disaster. It was a nightmare what you see in there. So
You mean so in other words, Ben was a pig? Is basically that
no,
what you're
it wasn't
saying?
Ben. No, it wasn't Ben. It was the room the dorm that Ben was going to go into. The room that he was going. Thank goodness he.
There were two guys already living there for 3 weeks before they were on the soccer team, so they got there early, and they were there for 3 weeks before I got there, and it was a well-lived-in college dorm by two 20-year-old guys.
And you were going to share that room? You were going to be the third person in that room?
No, they actually gave me another one across the campus. We made this nice little trade, but it was just going. It was a two-person dorm, but it was a nested two-dorm.
Being diplomatic, it was disgusting.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, you can imagine what their sheets were like in that case.
Exactly.
I don't want to imagine what they were like. I don't even think of these sheets could spare them from that place. But anyhow, okay.
All right, so that simple sheets, I think it's a clever idea.
Yeah, it is.
Very.
Yeah, exactly. So we're doing these back-to-school items that Dick has discovered, and now this next one is three. I guess when you go back to school, security is obviously an issue. 3 security gadgets at one price.
Yeah, what I like about this is that they're bare bones items. Installation is, you don't have to worry about it, and I think they're 3 useful devices. So you get a door wedge alarm, and the door wedge alarm goes under the dorm door, but you don't wedge it totally under the door. What you do is you put it a little bit back, and the very front of the wedge is actually spring-loaded. So when someone starts to push the door open, it pushes down on the first part of the door wedge, and it sets off a 120 decibel alarm. Then the bottom of the wedge has non-skid pads on it, so that the door will now start to jam into the wedge so that the door can't be opened. Now, during the day, there's a little transmitter and a little receiver that you can either put on a window or put on the door, and it comes with little foam pads. And what's neat about the little door alarm is that there is a little switch, and you can click it to chime. So during the day, you can't have the wedge under there because people are going to be going in and out. But you can set it to chime so that when someone comes in your door, you'll hear ding dong. And if you're sitting reading, and it's cleverly done so that the little transmitter can go on either side of the receiver, so that if it's a right-handed door or a left-handed door, or you could put this on the window if you like. And then the third thing you get goes on a keychain, and it's a little LED flashlight, a single bright LED bulb in it. But there's a pin in the back, and if you're walking along using a little flashlight and you feel threatened, you pull the pin in the back out, and that's a 110 decibel alarm. These are pretty loud. And I think that the list price is $24.99, and I see them on Amazon for about $18.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty good. Batteries come in the door alarm and the LED flashlight alarm, and you just have to provide a 9-volt battery for the door wedge alarm. But I think it's as I said, a bare bones security kit that I think could be effective and at an especially low price.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay.
Yeah, when I was living away at dorms, it was little things like this that turned, just an average dorm room like everyone else has into not only your dorm room, but, a nice dorm room. So, and when they're that cheap, they're very, very cool to get because it doesn't cost you much money, and it kind of makes it your space, because I think a lot of kids, they don't claim the space, like they just kind of live there for a year, and they live there for a whole year, but they don't claim it as theirs. It's just a room that they're staying in. So
I think that's a very good point. And I think the fact that you locked your roommate out for the entire year with the door wedge gave you that much more space.
Very true.
All right, so we're continuing on. Now I think that's pretty much for the back to school.
Yes.
And now for those of you who, you see, we're in a technology age where we have all these technological watches and everything. But if you want to watch that, you found comfort in the ticking sound that it used to make, they's got a watch for you.
Yes, this is right. I talked about this probably 5 years ago when I got one, and either someone found a bunch of them in a warehouse or whatever, but suddenly in the past week I've gotten 3 ads for it, and it looks identical to this. So I've not bought one this time around, but comparing my picture to what they're showing on the web, it looks exactly the same, and it's called the Spy Watch. And I was very excited about it because it has a built-in little video camera. And so the object is that you can, like my watch is a video camera, here you can have a spy watch camera for, I think it was $35.
And
the problem... Go ahead.
You have a video of this too, then we'll show it.
Yes. The problem is, you can play a second of that video. Actually, probably all we have to hear is the audio.
Yeah.
Audio.
Oh, you can't play audio?
Showing the video, but you're using the watch and you're pointing in the mirror, and
right.
and the watch is recording the video, which is very
right. But the problem is, it sounds like 60 Minutes all the time. They did not isolate the ticking of the watch from the microphone.
Ah.
So all the time you're talking, you
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, what good is this? And not one of the reviews mentions this. Now, it also has a still camera in there, so if you want it for stills, it'll be fine because you won't hear the ticking. But I remember when I first started showing that video on Twit, Leo Laporte started laughing hysterically after about 5 seconds and going, "Oh my God, is that the watch we're hearing?"
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So the only reason I'm pointing this out, oh, and it's something else to be aware of, not only on this watch but other watches. When I was looking at the dial in the close-up, I thought, oh my gosh, it has a Tide watch also. And as a boater, I'm thinking, this is great. I got a built-in camera. I got a built-in video camera. I have a Tide watch. And when I got it, I realized the Tide watch is painted on. So nothing moves. And then, so now I know in watch descriptions, when you see decorative dials for Tides and so, they mean that. It's a decoration. It is a non-working part of the watch. So the watch itself tells time, but the little sub-watches do nothing. They're actually paintings.
Okay. And I remember you talking years ago when you talked about this watch, the ticking sound. I remember that. So this is, they probably found them somewhere, and then there's
In a warehouse, someone said, yeah, I got 200,000 of these watches. What should we do with them?
How much are they?
I think they're $35.
Okay.
Yeah. About the same as what I paid back
Now,
5 years ago.
The video that you're recording, is it a live video, or you record it and then you offload the video and then watch it? How does that work?
It comes with a little USB cord.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't lose because it snaps into the side of the watch and you download it,
the video,
and watch it on your computer.
Okay. All right. So we're continuing on now. This is an interesting one. This is a pillow, but it's a pillow that you wear as you sleep.
Yeah, it's for travel. Okay, I should maybe point that out. I don't know. Did you remember the ostrich pillow at all?
Yes, I love that thing. You kind of stick your hands up in it and everything.
Bizarre. Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This thing that you pull down over your head, and there's like a porthole in the front that your face looks out of, and then there are two big things in the side. You put your arms in it, and the object is you're supposed to like put your head down on your snack tray or on the desk and sleep.
And just sleep your self-respect right away.
Yes, exactly. I mean, how you could ever wear that at the, and in their ads, you see people in the airport with this thing. Well, anyway, it's the same company. Yeah. So right now you're seeing this pillow and it was $100. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now, and I don't know if this is brand new or not, but I got an ad for it and I bought one. It was new to me. So this is the Ostrich Pillow Mini. Now this one makes a lot more sense to me. So it's very small, so you can do a couple things. You can stick your hand in and your thumb through the little thumb hole. And then if you're sitting on an airplane or a train or the back of someone's car, you now can lean against a window and you have a very comfortable, it has those little micro beads in there, and it's a very comfortable pillow that you can lean against. And what's nice about it is, like on an airplane, when they used to give pillows out, you would put the pillow against the window, but then you would shift a little bit and the pillow would slide out and fall, in the row behind you. So this way, by having your hand in it, you have a very comfortable way to lean against it but not lose it. And the other thing you can do is slide it up on your arm, and if you're one of those people who likes to lay on their desk and sleep on their arm, now you can have a very comfortable place to rest your head. And the best thing is, unlike the original ostrich pillow, which was $100, this sold for $25, but it was one of those deal of the days. I must subscribe to 10 deal of the day things because you can sometimes get a good deal, and I got it for $10 including shipping.
Wow.
So, and it's small enough. This is small enough you can throw in a backpack when you travel. The regular ostrich pillow was so big it could be your suitcase.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
This seems like a nice a nice alternative, or just another type of travel pillow, which I've seen all over the places in airports, and this one looks very, very convenient.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. And there's a link on my website. I've not bought anything from this company. I think it's called Focus. They sell it for $12 all the time.
There you go.
Although I think I will say about the ostrich pillow, if there was ever a gift you were going to give someone that they were never going to use, but at the same time they were never going to throw away, I think the ostrich pillow fits that.
That's true. I think you're absolutely right. All
right.
You know what? We know what's funny is because
We're going to take a little break, Dick, and then we'll come back, and we'll continue on with the funny story, and we'll also find out what a stick bot is, too. You're listening to the Computer America Show with Dick DiBartolo. Stay with us. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf's staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
I don't care if it is the ladies' room, I'm recording here. Hi, this is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time the TP-Link RE210 AC750 Wi-Fi range extender. You set this one up with an exemplary browser-based procedure. Identify the source Wi-Fi separately at 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Manually enter a password, either echo its SSID or create a new one, or use WPS. It took about a minute and resulted in a configured extender we can move to any outlet to be a dual-band Wi-Fi repeater. We should mention this product is fairly small. It's a wall wart with swing-up antenna ears, and it will occupy a lower outlet without blocking the upper. It can also act as a bridge through an RJ45 connector underneath. Bottom line, the TP-Link RE210 AC750 dual-band Wi-Fi range extender is configuration and operationally flawless. Marty Winston for News Tips Bulletin and Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Dick DiBartolo here is going to finish out the show with us as we go through all these back-to-school gadgets that he's found. But we just want to say that, oh, and by the way, that was Marty Winston with a News Tip Bulletin Review. Thank you for those. And if we're hearing that one all week long. And of course, you'll always hear them in our archives. So keep an ear out for those. But yeah, no. Right for the break, we were just talking about the Ostrich Pillow Mini. It's this tiny, tiny pillow that's makes sense for any arm sleepers or hand sleepers out there. You know who you are.
Yeah.
And and Dick, I think you were about to say something before the
Yes.
break.
We didn't mean to cut you off. By the way, you're on mute, Dick. So. Okay.
What was so funny what you said is that it's the kind of gift you would give somebody and they would not use it but never throw it out.
Right.
And what was so funny about that is when it first came out, the regular ostrich pillow, maybe 4 years ago, Leo Laporte bought one, and 2 weeks ago I was talking about this to Leo, and I said, "Remember that crazy ostrich pillow thing that you had?" And he said, "You mean like this?" And he had it under his desk. So you're absolutely right. I'm sure he's never used it, but he keeps it around just to shock people, I guess.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So what's a stickbot?
Stickbot, I think, is clever for kids who want to entertain themselves with learning about stop motion photography. So Stickbot, it's a little figure. The company is called Zing, and the Stickbot is a posable little figure. He can move his arms or his legs, and the object is that you use your smartphone, you download the app, and then you put the Stickbot on a table or a wall. And what's neat is his feet are suction cups and his arms are suction cups. So you can stick him on a wall, take a shot of him, move him up 1/8 of an inch, take a picture, move him up 1/8 of an inch, take a picture. And so basically you're doing your own little animation. And when I first saw it, I said, it's a clever idea, but a lot is going to depend on the price. Because sometimes I hear about things I think are good, and they say, well, it's $50. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to talk about this because that's a ridiculous price. So Stickbots are $5. Which I think is not bad. But a better deal is the little kit that they have. I think it's called Stickbot Studio. And you get 2 figures, and you get a little tripod for your smartphone. Because one of the things about stop action photography is the camera has to be in the same position all the time. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like 10 pictures for each 1 second of animation. So, but I think it's a fun project for kids to do.
Yeah, and we're looking at the video of it now, and the Stickbot was breakdancing at that.
Yeah,
point.
exactly. And the little suction cups, I think, make it easy for it to do fun things.
But the thing you really need to do this, forewarned, is patience.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're moving a little bit, taking a picture, moving a little bit, taking a picture.
Yes.
It makes me wonder, the dedication to things like Gumby and remember that
Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, Wallace and Gromit.
Shaun the Sheep.
Yeah.
I think the last one was the Box Trolls.
That one. Yeah. It was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a stop motion claymation. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say claymation. Yeah.
And stop motion is what they used, in the days of Ray Harryhausen and special effects and monsters, because that's the only way they could do it.
Now talk about patience. Where you not only had to do the 1 second at a time, but you had to mat in all these backgrounds and then get the actors in there. And
yeah. Special effects have come a long way.
Yes.
Since now we have CGI and everything. All right. I started to see this, and I knew what Dick was thinking. I saw this, and he says, "Oh no, not another Bluetooth speaker."
Yes, that's exactly right. So,
but here it is, another.
Here it is. It's called the Jam Trance Mini, and the fact that it's the Mini means there is a big trance Bluetooth speaker. So the reason I thought this was fun is the light show is pretty neat. So it has a little microphone in it, and so the microphone can be used to take phone calls, but also the microphone can be used to help the lights to dance to your music. So it's a Bluetooth speaker with a light show. It's also a speaker phone. Also has an auxiliary in jack, so if you have a little device that doesn't have Bluetooth, you can just plug it directly in and use it for a speaker that way. You can charge it for 3 hours and get 5 hours of playtime using the lights, or 5 hours or 10 hours of playtime without the lights. But I think the reason you buy this is for the lights. And the sound is very decent for its price. And I thought it was decent for its price at $40, $39.99. But I noticed BH Photo and Walmart sell it for $29.99. So if you need a little kind of desk speaker and you want a little light show and you don't want to pay a lot of money, and it's a rubberized finish, so if you drop it, I doubt if it's going to be harmed. I think this is a very decent price.
Yeah, it looks cute.
Yeah, it's from Jam.
If you like things that flash and blinky lights and everything.
Yeah, that's me.
I know.
Those are my attorneys, Flash and Blinky.
Okay, and again, if you're watching the live video stream, you can see everything. Ben is demonstrating everything on his video site, so you can actually see the images going along. It looks like a strobe there. It's really cool. Okay, so moving right along, fun stuff from an event called Sweet Blogger Bash.
Yeah. So Sweet Blogger Bash is every year around this time where it's another event on what manufacturers hope will be big for the holidays. And this is a clever toy from a company called Tech for Kids. And what it is 3D printers. Everybody likes 3D printers, and they run I think the cheapest one is about $600. But what's neat is when adults come out with something, kids want to have their version of it. So we have kid tablets, and VTech came out with the kid action cam, so it could be like a kid's GoPro. So this is called 3D creation. And what it is you get little molds and you fill with gel. The gel comes with it. And then when you fill the mold and you put it in the 3D creation oven or printer, and you push a button, and it takes anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, and you can actually make 3D little toys for yourself. You can build a bridge or a fish. They also make one that is just a plain plastic palette so that kids can make their own. You can write your name in it with the gel, and then when you put it in the little 3D creator, it'll come out and be like a hard plastic thing.
I like
so,
the turtle.
Yeah, it's very clever, and it's $40.
Is this the Play-Doh of tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. And also, what's very funny is I said this is like the modern version of the Easy Bake Oven.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. It uses a light bulb.
But it uses ultraviolet light to cure the thing.
Well, because we're in the 21st century now. From the light bulb.
Yes, exactly.
We have to have improvement.
Yeah. Well, if you had an LED Easy Bake Oven, it would take 4 days to make a cupcake.
That's true. It doesn't produce any heat.
That's right.
All right. So there it is. Fun stuff. And this is again called what is it called?
This is 3D Creator.
3D Creator. Okay.
Yeah, a 3D Creation Maker. I'm sorry.
3D Creation Maker. All right. Now, the next one we're going to get into puppets.
God, do you like puppets? I just love puppets. I mean, I like the ostrich pillow. I don't have an ostrich pillow here, but I do have a couple of puppets, and they're just fun. Like New Year's Eve or something, when I'm doing a TV show, I just love to have a puppet around. and Folk Manas, they just make the greatest puppets, and every year they introduce new puppets. They have Panting Dog, and what's nice about them, they don't use electric, they don't use anything. So Panting Dog has a little squeezable airbag in him, so he goes. But it's just you do it just by squeezing the little airbag, and they're very reasonably priced. They start at $9 for a little finger puppet, and I think Panting Dog is only about 39 and change. So and they're very creative. They have a raccoon that hides in a garbage can. So if you're interested, just look at their website, which is folkmanas.com. They have this year dragons are very, very big. So they have a very scary dragon that they recommend for older kids. And then they have a little dragon that also hides in like a garbage can, who comes out and doesn't look that scary.
It looks like
and I hate to say, real quick, I hate to say this, but I don't think that's a trash can. I think that's a turret. Think of like a tower.
Oh, okay. He was in a turret. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
This one goes over her entire. It takes two.
Yes, it's one of their two-handed puppets.
Look at
Very
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
and it's like he's like $40 or something. They're just so creative. Look at this.
Yeah, if you're watching the video stream, you can see.
Kids of all age will enjoy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we're moving right along here. Now, obviously, we are in the wake of the upcoming Star Wars movie, and so everything having to do with Star Wars, obviously, really, it's a hot item.
Yes. On the show last time, from another convention, I had the R2-D2 timer. You twisted his head, a kitchen timer, and the R2-D2. What else did? Oh, the pizza cutter.
Yes.
It made it sounds as you roll the pizza cutter. Well, this is the most bizarre. This is the bubble blowing R2-D2, and this is about 2 feet high. Rather nicely done, a model, 3D model of R2-D2, but all he does is blow bubbles. He has a 3-way switch on the front, which is blow bubbles right or left or straight ahead or random. And he blows a ton of bubbles. But I guess for a party, or maybe you just want to have them on a shelf so that to use them as a model.
Lawrence Welk would have loved this.
Yes, absolutely. And to tell you the truth, for the amount of detail, the manufacturer suggested list is $79.99. I don't know if that'll be discounted once it gets in wide distribution, but it's a very well done model, and he does blow a ton of bubbles.
You notice that Ben didn't say Lawrence who?
Oh yeah, because he just knows that anything you refer to he shouldn't say because.
I assume she unfortunately passed away 80 to 1,000 years ago, so I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, Lawrence Welk was this band leader. He had a TV show, and he was always introduced his TV show where he had bubbles blowing.
Yeah. If you watch PBS, they still run his shows.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
So the next one is now if I pronounce this right, Cleaverkeet.
Well, it's
Cleverkeet.
Cleverkeet. Yeah. So not parakeet, but Cleverkeet. Yeah, I thought all during what she was talking about, I thought she was saying Clever Pete.
Clever Pete.
Right. So it's Cleverkeet.
Yeah.
And the company's called Little Live Pets, and this is Little Live Pet Cleverkeet. So this actually is very clever. So it's a little parakeet, battery operated, and he comes with a whole little assortment of toys. So he has a built-in microphone, so he can dance to built-in music, or using his microphone, dance to your music. But what's clever is that you can put him on a wagon, and the wagon starts rolling along. You can put him on a swing, and he gets the swing moving pretty decent. You can put him on his feeding dish, and he starts eating. From time to time, he comes up and he burps. And so
dog does that.
no, it's actually very clever. He runs on 2 AA batteries, but each of the things you put him on has little contacts,
Wow.
and Clever Keith has little contacts in his feet, and that instructs the bird what to do. You can also teach him how to repeat things the way you would if you had a real parakeet. And if you teach him to say something naughty, as kids might do, there is a reset button on the bottom that parents can use to wipe out anything.
What does your parakeet say? What do you even say exactly? What do you even say?
Yeah. No, I think it's very clever. It's ages 3 and up, and it should be out sometime next month.
When you watch him, he even has the affectations of a bird. I mean, the way he moves.
Yeah, no, it's very, very good.
Very realistic. The head twitches the way a parakeet, the little wings flutter. I mean, it has it looks just like but it's a robotic parakeet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. No, the video component you've added is a giant help.
Yes, that's where we do it. Yeah. So now you have something for people who like Girl Scout cookies.
Yes. What was so funny was after I saw that 3D creator, I said, "Oh, this is like the modern day oven bake."
Mm-hmm. Easy bake oven.
Easy bake oven, right. I walk a couple booths down, and I find the Girl Scout cookie oven. Now, I didn't know that. Did you know that Girl Scout cookies are only sold 3 months of the year?
Yep.
Oh, you did know that? Okay.
Yeah. Well, they only sell them at like a certain time. Like that's why you only see Girl Scouts, around springtime outside of grocery stores and things like that, and not year round.
Oh, okay. And why is that?
It's like a fundraiser thing. Like it's not all year round. So like they special order all the cookies and then they sell them, and like they don't have cookies just sitting around or a factory. It's just special order.
Okay, no, you're right on. Yeah, they only sell Girl Scout cookies January, February, and March, and so this company worked with the Girl Scout organization to come out with the Girl Scout cookies oven. And I said, so it's like, is there a bulb in there? Because it'd be hard to find a bulb these days. It's not an LED. Mm-hmm. So there is a baking element in there that it's still very low wattage. I think the baking element is 100 watts. But it's very neatly designed so that the kid can't get anywhere near the heat. So when then there's an opening where you slide the cookie tray, and then there's a green knob that you slide along the Girl Scout cookie oven, and that brings the tray inside the cooking element. And then there's a little window so you can actually watch the cookies bake. Ah. You can either set the timer or just watch it and shut it when the cookies are done the way you want. And you can do a lot of, they worked with the Girl Scout cookie organization so that they could duplicate the Thin Mints, the peanut butter sandwiches, the chocolate, the caramel cookies, caramel coconut. And they had several trays of cookies there that they had baked, and they tasted really good. And the oven is, the suggested retail is $60. This is coming out in the fall. And it's expensive to buy cookies by the single pack. I think they said it was $7. And depending on how big the cookies are, it could almost come to $1 a cookie. But they have something called the deluxe refill pack. And you can get 4 different refills for $15. So drops the price down considerably, so that's
Now,
less than $4.
now are the cookies for this oven a special formulation? I mean, you couldn't cook regular.
No, no, yes, they're special. I'm sure they're made so that they can cook quicker or cook under less heat than a normal cookie would do.
Right. Have you tried them? Are they good?
Yes, the ones that they baked were very good, and they even have a little warming tray at the top of the oven so that you can melt the frosting to drizzle on to cookies that come with normally come with frosting.
This is a modern day bake oven. Exactly.
Well, we'll get to this last thing because this is my favorite thing. One of my favorite things of all time is this.
Oh, I've seen this one already before you mention it. Yes.
It's just the whole story is so knockout amazing. So this guy has a bunch of kids and they love water balloon fights. And the problem with water balloon fights are it takes forever to fill the balloons and tie the knot. So he comes up with this idea called bunch of balloons, where you can make 100 tied water balloons in less than a minute.
Oh.
And so it's so clever. And so they gave me, the packaging wasn't ready, but they gave me a couple of these to try in the backyard. And so you screw it onto a hose.
We're watching you do it. So you take a hose.
You screw it onto the hose, then you turn the water pressure on. The balloons fill up, and as they fill up, they fall off the little straws that they're on.
No way.
And every balloon has a little rubber O-ring on it. And as it falls off, the O-ring snaps shut around the balloon. So you can end up with, each one holds, I think, 35 balloons. And it takes less than 20 seconds. So you can... Are you watching the video?
Yeah.
And Dennis, who did the video, said, do you want to rehearse or anything? I said, we have two of these things. There's no such thing as rehearsing. Just run it, and we'll see what happens.
It's like oranges on a tree.
Yeah, and they come in all these different colors. But the neat thing was, talk about how people were intrigued by this. So he goes on Kickstarter looking for $10,000. He gets his $10,000 in 12 hours.
Wow.
He ends the campaign with almost $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
He ends up with $936,000.
Love it.
And it's an ingenious thing because they do work. And you get 3 sets of them for $13, $12.99.
He actually came up with this.
He came up with it, designed it, and it's like foolproof. You just screw the whole thing onto a hose,
right,
and turn the water on.
I did hear one comment about this from someone else who did buy this and did exactly what you did, but he said something along the lines of. They don't fill up with as much water as you would put them in individually, so they're a little bit more rubber. So he had to pelt his 5-year-old in the head a little bit harder than he would have loved to get them to pop.
Yes, I did find I throw them on the ground, and when I first started, the first one bounced because you do have to throw them a little bit harder.
Exactly.
But it's easy water balloons. You can't beat that.
The fact that they tie themselves
and fall off like that—that's amazing.
Is so clever. And the reason I noticed in all the videos I saw, people do it over like a bucket. And the reason you do that is occasionally a balloon will slide off, and so that straw will be shooting just water, and you'll just soak your feet. But and then they give you several extra balloons in the package in case any of them are a dud.
There you go.
Yeah,
wow.
Very clever.
Very
clever.
And it costs what? How much?
It's $12.99 for a package, and you get 3 of those screw-on devices, so you get 105 balloons plus a few spares for $13.
For $13, and it's used once and then throw away. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Bunch of balloons.
Well, Dick, listen. you come up with these winning things every week, every month, and this is no exception. The really terrific stuff. What's happening with you? Well, yeah, but less than a minute. I know I
Oh
asked.
yeah. So Twit with Leo, GizWiz.biz is where you find all this stuff, and GizWiz.tv is where you can see the hour show I do with OMG Chad every week.
All right, now coming up tomorrow night. Stay with us, Dick, to the end. We're going to have Hoopla Digital. Is going to be on the first hour. And basically, Hoopla Digital is like electronic books. It's a place you can go to get books. It's like libraries. We're going to have the owner and founder of Hoopla Digital, Jeff Jankowski, on in the first hour. I'm going to be talking about this really kind of interesting service that you can do. And then in the second hour, we're going to have Teen Safe. Now, Teen Safe is a way that you can use children's phones to monitor what they're doing and their social lives. But then we get, is that really, are you spying on your kids when you're using Teen Safe, or is it something that they'll have come to appreciate?
If we've learned anything about teens, they love close supervision. They love it.
There it is. Good point. That about wraps it up for tonight. Again, thank you all for being with us here. And Ben and I will see you here tomorrow night. Same time, same bat channel. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Say good night, Dick.
Good night. Bye.
Okay. Yes, okay, we're out. Go ahead.
2 more years, you're going to have to get rid of